work on some soloing fundamentals here. So you may or may not already know some of this stuff, so sorry if this is review. Based on your playing, I think you might, but you might not. So, whenever I'm going to start a solo, what I do is I think about if it's like, you got to know what key we're in. So if we're in the key of A, and actually that's this is G sharp because I'm tuned down, but I like to tune down a half step just to make the strings a little easier to bend, and I like to use 11s. Just get a thicker tone. So let's say we're in A. This is G sharp. We're gonna say it's A. You know, if it's in the key of A, then on the E string I go up to an A note, which is the same as an A string, right? So it's an A note. So based on this, there are a certain number of shapes I know I can use, you know, so, you know, like just in these 4 frets, there's... And so, instead of like getting carried away and just thinking, I want to be all up the... You know, you just get really comfortable in these 4 frets. Don't worry about the fact that you're not moving all over the neck like a pro. Just make sure you really have those 4 frets down so that you can really improvise and kind of like do your own stuff. And you know, I would just try and think of like simple melodies you can do, like. Or if you hear a certain part of a lick you like, just play around, just do as much as you can in those, within those 4 frets. You know, so turn on a jam track and just for you know 5 minutes every day, just make sure you're really solid in those 4 frets. And then, you know, from this position, you have like, if this is the 4th fret from where we started, you know, there are these shapes. And so you can kind of go. And so once you feel comfortable there, now you're playing around here. You're kind of going. And now you're combining them, right? You're jumping back and forth. You know, and sometimes you gotta just play around. You kind of go. Like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Okay, I'm not going to do that again. You're just going to train your brain. And then you kind of, once you get comfortable in those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, make sure you're doing kind of the right combination of bends and slides. I like bends, but sometimes a slide's better, and sometimes people overdo, you know, one or the other. You should be able to do like 4 fret bend. So like one of the issues is that a lot of guitar players have is finger strength. So you should be able to bend from uh, from here to here. You know, these are 11, so it's going to take some. Okay, make sure you can do that too. And a well placed bend is really fucking sweet. Wasn't very clean, but or you could go. See, so it's the equivalent of. But if you can do it all in one smooth motion, okay, then so we kind of. So then if you know, again, we're kind of in minor pentatonics here. So we're in A, which means we're gonna. So the other way you can do it, remember early on I said for finding placement, then we're looking for that E equivalent of A, the E string equivalent of A. So it's like this is A, so we're looking for on the E string, and that's where I got that positioning, right? So I know that like if my band is soloing in the key of, C, I know that C is right here. You just have to, know this shit. C is right here. That's a C chord, so that's going to be the sound we're looking for. So everything I just did in A is the same in C. And it's the same kind of... same kind of thing. So that's kind of like those, what I call them like E string positions. If we're in G, it's going to be here. If we're in B flat. If we're in D. It's all the same. And then you have some A string options, right? So if we're sticking in A, well, that's the same right here, right? So it's an A note. So we find this spot, and now we have a different series of shapes, right? So it's kind of, we got to think a little bit differently. And so, whereas we, when we were here, we wouldn't rely on that so much, but we will here. This is kind of like the Purple Haze riff, like. Although that's an A, it's an E, sorry. So in this A position, we know like that's A. So you just got to learn the shapes. And so you just got to play around with these. So like, again, just master these 4 frets. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Just make sure you're really comfortable in here before you get there. So when you're starting out, it might be something like... and just do things over and over again until you really got them. I mean, it's boring, but... and you'll get kind of bored with it once you get good at it, and it'll get really boring, and then you can kind of... you learned it. You just have to do it a lot. I mean, like, how bad do you want it? You can spend a couple hours a day on it if you really want to get good at it. And then again, like, get up here and then add a couple more frets to it, So that's basically the A position. You can also, hey buddy, you can also get down here, and it's the same formation. So like if this is your A string right there. And the cool thing about, yeah buddy.
I'm hungry.
You want a cereal bar?
No.
Or ravioli? What do you want? Something yummy. Okay. Don't go looking in the fridge. Do you want a cereal bar? You want ravioli? You want a chicken sandwich? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a minute. I'll make it for you, okay? Go upstairs. I'll bring it to you.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, it sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? Yeah? Yeah, you like that. I like that. So I gotta go in a minute and make a PB and J. So just as you would have this form, this shape, you'd have there it is, and that's how you kind of make like an A minor chord, right? So another easier way to think of it, remember we're doing the E positioning. You can just make an A minor, and just then you know those notes are acceptable. Then if we were in like major pentatonics and we're doing something like, or like Blue Sky by Allman Brothers is a good example, just really simple. Definitely a major pentatonic song. So what we do is a couple options, like the E string formation is going to be a little different because like, but you have to learn that. So if we can find it like up here, that means we have these shapes. So just get really good at just maybe you don't even not even these frets, just like these strings, you know. You can kind of, if you know these notes, you can do cool stuff like. Or like if or in the A string formation right there, we're on A, right? This is the A string. We got to find the E with the A string. So that's our E. So we know. So that's E right there. So then what I do is I know that if that's an E, then my formation kind of starts there, 2 frets above. So we just kind of learn these. And you can kind of go, branch out a little bit, you know. Don't be afraid to hit a wrong note, especially if you're just practicing. So again, just get really, just spend, you know, and this is like one little section at a time. Like remember we started out with like, just you kind of, just do that at first. And then throw in, because you can look up pentatonic scales and just, but just the key I think that I would stress is just to stay within those 4 frets at first. You know, all these little sections I'm showing you, I'd really like make sure you have each one mastered before you go on to the next one. Yeah, that's basically all I was going to tell you about like soloing fundamentals. Then once you kind of feel like you have all those sections, it's about connecting them in a solo. And so one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard from Trey Anastasio, like a fish, is just try to pick simple melodies and play them in as many different places on the guitar as you can. So if we're like in G, or if you want to get fancier, like, but so. Yeah, I need to work on that one. that's really like one of the best things that I ever learned was like take a simple melody and try and play it as many places on the guitar as you can. And it really will help you, you know, because then you can start making your own melody. And just try and do it as many different places on the guitar as you can. And then try and think about which strings go well together. So like if you're doing like major pentatonics in G, remember how we do this with, like if this is the G note, we can find it on the A string right here, for example. Sorry. Right there. So you go up 2 frets like we did when we were talking about E. And there's a cool lick you can do, like you put your pinky on these 2 and then on the G and you kind of go. Or you can kind of go, kind of hit it one at a time. Or you can kind of go. So that's kind of cool stuff you can do. And then maybe I'll just show you some quick licks, some cool licks. One of my favorites is like, let's say we're in B. Key doesn't matter. I like to put my, so if we're in B right here, I put my ring finger there on the high E string on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th fret, and then on the 9th fret, put my middle finger on the B. But you can bend it a little bit. Back down to your pointer finger on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th fret. So 9th and 10th right here. And you can kind of use that as it's like a fun launching pad. I think like you're just starting the solo and you can go. Oops. I also like, it's a related lick. You can kind of take do like a triad. Your ring finger right there, and instead of putting the middle finger there like we had it, we put it there on the G string on the same fret as the ring finger, and then the pointer back there on the 9th fret. And this is how Red House starts, the Jimi Hendrix blues song. You kind of go. But it's a cool way, like if you're jamming. And then right when it goes to the next part. So if it's kind of like, if it's in like. And it goes to the E. Time that so you kind of like, and right as it goes to the E, so kind of, and then right as it goes to the E, you take your middle finger. Sorry. So you have a lot of options here. You can go. Kind of what I just did. So remember, this is the, and right as it goes, you can kind of come out of this. You're still in B. Just as it goes to E. Something like that. Or you can get a little crazy and go. Just land on that, or you can get crazy and go. somebody's ring finger right there on the B, on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th fret, and then your middle finger right there on the D, and you're not touching the G, so it's just kind of, if we're in the key of B right now, you can kind of go. You can do a lot with this. You can kind of go, or just kind of go. Sometimes, if Clapton's really good at that. Or you can just go and hit all three right when it goes to that. And then, like, one thing I like to do whenever it goes to the turnaround, sometimes I do it too much, but when it goes to the, I like to, a lot of blues players do that, though. It's kind of redundant, but it always works. So that, and then you can also, at the end of any turnaround, go. I think I showed you this last time, but it's basically like if you're doing a B7, the open chord, but like this formation of a B7 can be used like if we were in the key of A, so it's like. On that high E. What else do I really like? Oh, like some of the multi-fret bends, like you can do, let's say if we're in the key of B, kind of go. You want to hit the note, the note to eventually double. It's because it's going to go from. So you kind of, you have to try and mute the other strings too, but, and then while you're holding this, bring your pinky down. So, sorry, let me back up. You got your pointer finger on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th fret, and then your ring finger on the 10th fret, and then you're bending up to that, bending up to the 12th fret, and we'll do it real slow, because with your pointer finger on the high E string on the 7th fret, you're kind of going. I'm just holding that up. Those are two different strings, right? But then you can, add your pinky down on that 10th fret on the high E. So. And if you really have some dexterity and you can hold that bend, you can kind of do. So kind of do stuff while you're holding that bend. So you can kind of go. Or you can kind of hold it up once. And I try to, let me see if I can explain it. I'm using my middle finger to mute the other string so it doesn't go like, because sometimes you can hear that. You don't want that. So you kind of use my middle finger to, or I like that one, or I like, and the same also in B. It's an easier bend. You got your 7th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret on the B string. You bend from here to here. can again hit them together. See, I keep not failing to mute it, but you can go. Do it real slow. Damn it. I would learn that one too, because that's one you can do really fast if you get good at it. It's kind of... we're just getting to hammer-ons now, which... Another one I like is the, remember when we were, let's say we're still in B. There's a lot you can do from here. You can go, like the one I showed you, you can go. Or you can go. So Clapton does this one a lot in his acoustic soloing, like. But then what you can do is once you get down to here, I like to do this. So it's kind of like, I'm sorry. Another one I'll use sometimes is like if we're in B, you have your G string and your B string right here, and you kind of, so it's these two notes, but you hit them together, but then you can go, and so now you're on the 10th and the 11th fret. Just do this real slow at first. And so you can kind of, so you kind of like, and that can be a cool one. I'll show you, my major licks aren't that good, but I'll show you one really good one. So if we're like in G, so remember in G, to find our position, we, like if I want to do like find a good major section, find the G that's on the A string, same note right there, go up 2 frets, and then so on on the 15th, it's a big 4 fret bend, but it's a classic like B.B. King kind of thing. So do it real slow. So remember that last one, you kind of want to, you don't want to bend all the way to the 12th fret. So. And those little, sometimes those little connecting pieces are really important. It's easy to forget about them. Anyway, those are most of my favorite licks. Oh, the other one I like, I'll show you one more. If you're like, let's say we're in D minor, pentatonics. So I like that one. So it's like, and this is that's a very common one. You bend your G, let's say you're on the 12th fret is your ring finger on the G string, and then you bend it up to this, just like we were doing here. So it's like, and again, make sure you're not trying to do without first being able to do that. Like, you gotta build to this stuff. So, or of course you can go, or you can go. And once you learn all these licks, of course you can use them in any key. Yeah, that's most of my favorite licks that I use. So if you ever get around to seeing my band play, if we ever get through this pandemic, you'll probably see me use many of those licks in a show over and over again. Because a lot of people are like, oh, how do you improv? And I'm like, I'm not always improvising. Sometimes I'm just, a lot of it is, but you're just you're applying licks in different ways. Just like words and sentences already, you just kind of use them differently with people. But anyway, that's all for the licks portion, I guess. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will work on that backing track after I get my son a PB&J.